Sorry. What's up everyone? Today I'm gonna show you how I made this track.
Breakthrough.
I went through it in one of my live streams and explained the drums, the bass, the synths and the vocals for each section. So I hope you enjoy it. Let's start with the intro. I'm just gonna start with the drums. Not a lot going on, just this one loop. Just have the CQ on it. I also had this ambient shot here. And I've just reversed it and put it in here. It's like a little riser detail. Let's go to the synths. They have this lead here. It's actually just post-processing because the synth is literally just a sine wave. And a lot of effects on it. I also made a video about it, but I have like saturation, I lay a noise on top of it, compress it a bit, more saturation. And this is actually a really cool tip if you use FL Studio. In Patcher, there's this preset humanizer and it adds this pitch variation. Without it, and with it, you know, adds a lot. Yeah, after that, just OTT, some, let's not talk about it, and reverb. That's the lead. And I also have this chords underneath it. Just sine waves. And I think I copied the effect chain, but changed it a bit. I have like pretty much the same effects on here. On top of these two synths, I have some pads. This pad. And this pad on it as well. Just atmospheric stuff to fill everything out, get the mood. Let's go to the vocals.
You thought you left it back in time.
So the thing is, I made the vocals in a separate project, so they already are a bit compressed and everything. So the only thing that's on here is like a de-esser and this auto pitch, but only because I wanted to change the format. Nothing too special. I cut out the lows and the highs. So yeah, just the verse vocal with delay and reverb and a bit less frequencies. Let's listen to the verse.
You thought you left it back in time, but suddenly it haunts you. Together hope to hold you high, but what if they break through?
The drums. So there isn't a lot going on right now. I have this wide kick and I have the snare. Pretty dry. Probably should have put a bit reverb on the snare, but it works in the mix. So. And what I also have on here is this percussion loop. I love how it turned out. It adds so much groove. It's basically just a lot of sounds, put some delay on the one. Really fast delay, for example. It's like ear candy, right? And the rest is just like EQs to get out the lows from all the elements where I don't need the lows. And I still have this percussion loop playing. I really like the space. The drums left for all the elements in the verse. Then I also added this 808. Again, really basic sound. I just have a sine wave and pitch it down pretty quick. No effects on there again with the synth. I layer some noise on it, then I distort the sound and distort it again for some reason. But yeah, that's also already the sound. I think the 808 is quite nice. And that's the only bass I have in the verse. With synths, I don't think I have much more, so I cut away the lead because I wanted space for my vocal. I'm just left with the chords. And yeah, I still play this pad. And the rest is just cut away to get space, because if you have too much, it's gonna clash with the vocal, and you only want one element as a focus point, at least like most of the time, I guess. But let's look at the vocal.
You thought you left it back in time, but suddenly it haunts you.
First of all, let's look at the main vocal.
You thought you left it back in time.
Can take out all the effects I have in here.
You thought you left it back in time.
But it already sounds like this because, as I said, I made the vocals in a separate project. What I still have on here is like another autotune just for automation clip on the format. So I have quite some automation clips on here, but here's the format. So you will hear, it sounds normal, the 50%, but when it goes down, I'll change the format as well.
You thought you left it back in time.
I also put another de-esser on here because the S's were just too loud. And a limiter, that's interesting, that's pretty aggressive. Seems like I want to compress it and use the limiter for some reason, yeah. I don't know why. I also have a high layer vocal on here. I route the main vocal into another mixer channel and pitched up, and that sounds really interesting.
You thought you left it back in time.
Only kept the highs and made it super wide and even wider because I boosted the sides a bit more. Normally I just record them singing 1 octave up, but that's sometimes really interesting as well. And then I also have the doubles.
Back in time.
It's just like 1 take left, 1 take right. It's a classic, right? Super effective. I cut out all the S sounds because I wanted the S only to be in the middle. So I have these 3 layers and I wrote all of them into 1 vocal bus. I have 1 dynamic EQ on here, 1 normal EQ, and then it's mostly automations. So I have a lot of automation clips, as you can see, on the vocal. For example, I ring modulate my vocal. It sounds like this.
This is through your mind.
It's like this shaky sound to it. You can do that by just adding a ring modulator at a very low frequency and automating the depth.
Fear pierces through your mind.
Yeah, sounds beautiful. Also I have an auto pan on here. That's like very, very similar effect I did here at the end.
Breakthrough.
Again, this shaky sound, but from left to right now. A lot of automation clips, and I think that's actually a great tip. Use automation clips, add variations to the vocal. Like, even though it sounds decent already, just add some details for like transitions or stuff like that. Other than that, nothing special with the vocal, just some delay, some reverb, all of that is automated. Some big reverb for flyaway effect, and also a volume. On almost every element, I have like a volume automation, so it cuts away when I don't want it to play anymore. That's it for the verse. Let's listen to the build-up.
Fear pierces through your mind. The echoes coming back to earth. You lose your grip behind you hard. You know they won't break through.
Let's talk about the drums. I don't think we have to talk about main kick and the snare, nothing interesting here but this fill. I have this build-up snare and some automation clips on it. So I automated like the upper band and the lowest band, automated some reverb on here and a volume again. Simple but effective. I have this right, just like in the EQ to only have it in the highs, and a frequency shifter. And it works so well. It just sounds better than just pitching the right. It's like this build-up, this pitch-up, build-up sound, but on the right. And that's cool. It works in the mix. Still have this loop playing with a automation clip on a filter, cutting all the lows away before the drop. I have that on all of my drums here. So I leave space and anticipation for the drop so that the bass hits even harder. Oh, the bass is also interesting. I just copied the 808 patch, I put the sustain up and added this pitch LFO. And it also modulates the speed of this LFO, and this LFO modulates the volume so it gets... You hear what it's doing, right? It's just like a riser, but with my bass. And so we have more building elements for the build-up. I also have the leads. Just these 2 EQ bands again, low pass and high pass. It opens up in the end, and now we're gonna get the drop after I showed you the vocals. It's like the same vocal I already showed you. The only interesting thing is this whisper layer I put in the like pre-drop vocal.
Breakthrough.
I think it sounds sick.
Breakthrough.
Putting 1 to the left, 1 to the right, and amazing layer. Now we're gonna check out the drop. Let's go. Let's check out the drums. My drop kicks are typically really snappy. I think this kick does a great job there. The snare is really interesting as well. Or like really interesting, at least really hard hitting. To have like main snare really dry in this layer. To give it more space. Then I just have a lot of stuff layered. I have this head that follows the lead rhythm. This right. This ghost snare here. This right. I have this noise layer. I have this percussion sound. I have this bitch crushed something. Let's look at the bass. So the first bass, just this sub here. Probably not too complicated again. Just like the sine wave with a few upper harmonics into a down sample distortion for some highs. Then I lay a noise, distortion, distortion, OTT, distortion, EQ. Not even automation on here, but that's alright because the bass can be pretty simple because the lead fills out so much space. The second bass, whew, sounds so sick. I mean, I won't go over the whole patch. I think I also made a video about that already. Saw wave based, and then I have the sine wave plus 19 for the stream, right? Yeah, compression, distortion, EQ on a compression, distortion. And this, wow, this EQ looks so cursed. After that, a limiter and a balance. Now I have this Reese. Sounds good. It's not too deep as well. Basic Reese, just 2 saw waves, detuned, compression, distortion, and a separate sub bass. From the main Reese, I cut out the sub, add the new sub, and compress all of that again with this chain here. I already made like videos about all of the sounds, I think. Let's check out the synths.
You know they will break through.
I have this one. This bass step, but I cut out all the lows and used it as a synth because it plays parallel with the sub. I think sounds cool. But now let's check out the lead. I have a lot of layers to it, many drum and noise layers. Like this one. Just a sine wave, some unison, some noise, filtering the lows out of the noise, compressing, filtering again. I think this is like, yeah, to make it pluckier. Down sample distortion, you can hear that, like, has these interesting highs. I really like to do that sometimes. Cutting out the lows, the distortion added, compressing, distorting again, cutting. Like my EQs are so cursed. I think if you get like more precise and know what you're doing, your EQs automatically don't look that crazy. You don't get situations where you have 13 dB too much highs, you know? After that, just more compression, more EQs. Like I literally, look at that. Like I boost the frequencies and the next plugin, I cut them away again. Like it's hilarious. It's just a lot of trial and error. I do a lot of things without knowing if it's gonna sound good, but I just try them. That's like the learning process. Don't be afraid of spamming the same plugins after another, even if you do the straight opposite. You're just learning. And like the lead sound is sick, so no downsides at all. There's a lot of ear candy here. For example, this thing. These little details. But yeah, that's it for the synths for this part. Let's check out the vocals real quick. Just sampled my verse vocals.
You know they will break through.
Automating the form and pitch again.
Fear passes through.
Let's check out the next section. Here we go.
If there's a God, I need a hope. Look at the stars, they feel so close.
This and the next drop after that is like my favorite part of the song probably. I made the sound here. And I think it sounds sick. It's again, just a sine wave, some chorus. Vital's chorus sounds so sick, by the way. Some distortion, a lot of effects. It's just like trial and error. And yeah, let's talk about the spectral compressor and why I have it on here as well. So I have this vocal playing, right?
If there's a God, I need a hope.
And I had a mixing problem. It sounded like this.
If there's a God, I need a hope. Look at the stars, they feel so close.
I mean, it's alright, but they are kind of clashing. They are both playing like this 2K frequency room here. So what I did is I took my vocal and sent a sidechain signal to the chords. I added this spectral compressor. You can also do that with Pro Q or Soothe, of course, but this plugin is free. That's great about it. And I use it in sidechain compression mode. And now what this plugin does, it has 1000 bands. Whenever the vocal signal passes this threshold line, the plugin will pull down exactly these frequencies for the chords. Just sidechain compression, but with a lot of bands, and that makes space for the vocal. Drums are not complicated at all. This kick again, and like this new percussion thing. And I also have this clap. That's it. And this one. A music box from Labs, but with delay on it and pitch delay as well. Don't have a bass playing in this section, so let's look at the vocals the same as before, but like a different recording.
If there's a God, I need a hope. Look at the stars, they feel so close.
And I have this vocal fill. And I also have this bass plug. Let's look at the drums. We have the same kick and snare as in the first drop. We have this crash again, the ride again, this noise layer. The drums are mostly copied from the first drop, but now we have this main synth playing here. It's a copy of the synth I had here, but I just made it plucky. I automated this filter. Other than that, it's pretty much the same thing. Automated some reverb here. We have this thing. Also a pad a friend of mine made, put some effects on it just to make it really wide and not clash with any of other elements. Also have another music box fill in here. Just a bit dirtier than before. Now let's look at the bass. Simple 808. And again, the bass doesn't always need to be super interesting if the rest of the track is. Follow the rhythm of the lead, and it's just a sine wave with distortion again. Nothing crazy. In the B part of the same drop, I cut out some elements again, cut out the pad for example, and bring in some more percussion and bring back the vocals.
There's a God, I need a hope. Look at the stars, they feel so close. How should I know? When I die, will I watch you from above?
And we go into the break section. We have the same chords, pad again, percussion, and the vocals again.
But what if they break through?
Let's look at the next build-up.
Fear pierces through your mind. The echoes coming back to earth. You just look at the hell you are. You know they won't break through.
Kick and snare again, first kick and snare, same percussion loop as I had it in the first verse. Then I also bring back the build-up snare as well as the ride. And I think that's it for the drums. The interesting thing about this part is I don't have like this build-up 808, but I just used the 808 I used in my first verse. Really gives the build-up a new feel. Feels pretty bouncy, pretty groovy. Then I also just have the vocals again. Let's look at the third and last drop. Let's look at the drums. So I have the same kick I already used, but I added this clap. I also added this head. You know, it's house, so it fits. But the rest of the drums is the same thing. That's the drums. Okay, let's look at the bass. I used the main bass of the second drop as a fill bass in the first drop, so we already looked at it. The automation clips are a lot. There's so much movement just by automating these two macros. I have the main bass of the first drop sometimes playing as a first impact just to get some variation. But yeah, and then I also reused this Reese here. These are the same sounds I used in the first drop, just in a different context, different genre. For the synths, there's not a lot of new stuff. I used the same lead, but with another layer. I just rendered it and put some new effects on it to get some variation, but really doesn't make a big difference here. I have similar ear candies. I have like this music box. Let's finish it by looking at the outro.
If there's a God, I need a hope. Look at the stars, they feel so close. How should I know? When I die, will I watch it from above?
It's the synth I already had in a break after the first drop, just the same thing but with a different reverb automation. Then also I took the vocals I had in my middle part, just copied them over and used that as the outro. I hope that video was helpful. Check out Breakthrough on every streaming platform and follow me on Twitch so you can be part of the next live stream. See ya!